About 6 years ago, I moved into a new condo with my daughters, and Michelle was my next door neighbor. And she and her roommate were out there one day drinking wine. That's where this all started. I came out with a glass of wine, introduced myself, and next thing you know, it was 2:30 in the morning, I think, that night.
Something around there.
Something about right there. And then our first real big date, our first weekend away, was up in Napa, and that's when we knew we were doing well and enjoying wines together. So that's where that started. We had, every year we go up to Santa Cruz to visit Michelle's family in their beach house, bring the kids and just have a big party weekend. That weekend was also Michelle's birthday. So on July 19th, which was your birthday, yes. We scheduled to go horseback riding with the girls. And it was up in Pebble Beach. So I had a great plan that, you know, the horses will go to a nice beautiful bluff and be able to pop the ring.
Hop off the horse.
Hop off the horse and get down on one knee. And needless to say, the horses didn't cooperate. So plan A kind of evaporated when they just kind of followed one another up the little cliffs and down the little cliffs. And it was just like, well, I guess we're never going to ever pull ahead. So I went to plan B. Plan B was a small beach just south of there, still on Pebble Beach area. Beautiful little beach. Took the girls down there with Michelle, and she was, I think, pretty much oblivious that it was going to happen.
I had no idea it was happening.
And got down on one knee, and she kind of gasped, and I asked her if she would marry me.
And I said yes.
And the girls were there, and everybody started to cry.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And then we started the phone calls.
There was tons of them.
Tons of phone calls. Do this one.
When I first moved up to San Diego, my roommate and my sister and I, we used to come up here all the time just to do wine tasting. And this, I think, was one of our first wineries that we stopped at. So I became a member, and I was a member for probably 2 or 3 years. And then I stopped, and then we came back about a year later, and I signed up again. So I just knew that this was one of the places that I really liked. So when we came up and did all of our little tours, we decided on this place.
Yeah, we went to a couple of other venues right down the street, and they weren't the right place. This was the right place. I mean, just knowing after business closed we had the place to ourselves, we'd be able to just share it with our friends and how beautiful it was. It was just, this was the place. I think when we met with Brittany and saw what this place had to offer, saw the images outside the barrel room, and then just the barrel room itself, knowing that we would be able to use that space, and then the small ceremony space here, and then just all the space itself was so classy. Like some of the other venues, we would go in there and, you know, the front where the tasting room was just too busy, or, you know, the restaurant, it was just too many people, too much going on. It almost felt like a flea market at one point, or the space was old.
And the other thing is, here we would be the only wedding that day. You know, I didn't want to walk around while we were taking pictures and run into other brides. And not that it would have ruined the day, but it was our day, and we didn't want to see other brides and other grooms walking around on that day.
And then, I mean, when we looked at the different packages and the menus, it looked like a really quality menu. It looked like a really good plan, and there weren't a lot of like add-ons or anything like that. It was kind of like, this is what we want. Looks perfect. The wines are great. And then when we met Volker and got to taste the food, it was a lock then. I mean, he's a fantastic chef, and the food was fantastic. It was awesome. And just his knowledge of your wines and how they pair with the food, couldn't ask for any more.
We didn't really have any hiccups at all. Everything went as planned. There was even no minor incidents at all. Everything was just very smooth, organized. You know, I knew that you guys were taking care of everything, that, you know, I didn't have to worry about, you know, were the flowers going up, was the cake okay? Everything was just taken care of, and we didn't have anything to worry about. And I think that doesn't happen a lot. You know, you hear people tell stories about their wedding day and, oh, this went wrong or that went wrong, and we didn't have that at all.
And I know you were communicating with Brittany all the time. She was checking in a lot, and just we would almost comment every time we came up here to meet with Brittany that she never says no. Anything we asked for, it was pretty much like, sure. hey, you know, it's going to be hot that day. Can we have juice and champagne out at the outside bar before the ceremony, so when people get here, they can have a chance? Sure. Never a question.
Right.
Never a no. So it was perfect.
Favorite part? The whole day?
The whole day was great. I mean, the ceremony was beautiful. Reverend Holly did a fantastic job. Just having the kids so involved in the ceremony for me, and the little ceremony between Michelle and my girls, making them her girls, was pretty awesome. And just the space, just knowing that our guests were being taken care of. I mean, after the wedding, everybody you talked to was like, that was the best wedding ever. And some of the guys that I work with were like, even the bar staff were saying this is like the best party they've ever had here. So for us, it was just knowing everybody was being taken care of, and then Brittany looking out for us. I mean, it was a very stress-free day. As far as, you know, should be the most stressful, it really wasn't. And it went very smoothly. Just the space was beautiful. The food was great, and then everybody just having an awesome party. You couldn't ask for much more. How about you? Did you have fun that day?
I did. Yeah, I'd rank it up there as one of the best.
Yeah, I mean, there's some intimidating moments when you walk in and all your guests are seated at the reception, but I mean, the space is great. It felt just so right. I mean, everybody looked like they were happy to see us, and we were sure happy to have them there, and everybody definitely had a drink in their hand, and they were ready to go.
We really enjoyed the reserve cab. So last time, or a few times ago when we came up here, we actually became Reserve Wine Club members. And the reason why we did that is because we really liked the reserve cab. So we bought 2 cases to serve at the wedding. So I think that's probably one of our favorites.
And I know everybody liked the White Crowded.
The White Crowded, everyone loved at the wedding. In fact, while we are here today, I have to buy some for some people.
Buy some for some of our friends. And then the Orange Champagne. Everybody loved that. That was perfect when it's a little warm up here, which it usually is. Everybody loved to have that.
It's great for mimosas too at home.
But I think just there were so many new wine people at the party that I know there were friends of mine that are beer drinkers, and they brought home cases of wine. They bought cases here during the wedding. So I mean, that's pretty awesome, and they just loved this place. I think if anyone were to ever ask, you know, where do you think we should get married, we'd recommend this place anytime. But the wines, yeah, they're having the reserve cab for the party was great. We definitely had at least 1 bottle between us.
At least.
At least. And the champagne never stopped.
Yeah.
A lot of people like the White Crowded for sure. And then I know a lot of the Syrah went.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All good.
All good.
So we went with recommendations from most of our friends and family in San Diego. So they weren't actual local vendors to Temecula. I think Reverend Holly, Reverend Holly Skinner, she was amazing. We met with her for about an hour months before the wedding, and she just wrote the most amazing vows that really talked about us and who we were and our relationship. And she really just nailed it. And everyone talked about how wonderful she was and that they wish they had her to marry them. So she was one that I would highly recommend. We also had Jessica Frazier, our photographer.
Fantastic.
Fantastic, just amazing pictures, just very professional. Couldn't have asked for a more attentive photographer. Sean Lloyd, our videographer, also amazing. Still waiting for video, but that's expected. But I can't wait to see what it looks like when he does send us the draft.
Then our DJ, he did a fantastic job.
Yes, Andy from Disco Round. Just again, we met with him a few weeks before the wedding and just talked over some margaritas and beer on the border, and just really talked to him, told him what we liked. What we are looking for. We are really open with our music. We didn't want to have a set playlist, and we said do what the mood is wherever the mood is going, play that type of music. And I think he did a great job doing that. Everyone had a blast, was always on the dance floor till the very last song. So we didn't have any problems with that at all.
Got a little Dropkick Murphys in there, a little Tessie, some Boston music. Nothing wrong with that. And then, mentioned Volker earlier. your chef here is fantastic. Everyone raved about the food. You know, you can't complain about filet anytime, but you know, the way they prepared it was great. You know, most of the kids ate from the adult menu, and then Michelle made sure to get the macaroni and cheese,
which was delicious.
And it was delicious. There was macaroni and cheese
I had
there.
to have my side of mac and cheese.
Hats off to Brittany to remember that.
Yes.
Out of everything, she remembered to make sure Michelle had macaroni and cheese on her plate. So, I mean, but when he took us to his facility for the private tasting over there, the kids, I mean, he brought out lamb. I mean, the kids ate everything that he made, and he was just utterly impressed. And you know, just his knowledge of food and wine, it definitely is. I mean, you guys have a great chef there, for sure.
So, definitely the amenities were a huge draw for us. So we had the bridal suite and the groom suite. I got ready in the bride suite with, I had my hair and makeup come here. So it was great because they came to us, and I didn't have to worry about driving anywhere and, you know, getting ready then coming here or anything like that. I was here from 10 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock at night. And you know, it's just the bridal suite was great. You guys have your iPod machine in here, so we could listen to whatever music we wanted. You know, there's champagne, fruit, cheese, water, sodas, anything we needed. You guys were happy to help us get, and then it was just very convenient.
Yeah, for the groom side, I mean, you have the parking out back. That's great. You know, you can get your stuff out of here afterward. We're able to load up all the gifts and everything without any hassle. You know, you have the refrigerator, so you can bring some food with you if you need it. But you guys had already left cheese and stuff there, and champagne for us, so that was a great touch. And then
you guys watched movies, right?
We had a movie going. Yes, we did. But then, you know, the photographers came in, and then we started going around and doing all our photos, and you know, just the groomsmen's families were able to have some place to go and do something different. And you know, for the folks coming from the East Coast that don't go to wineries a lot, I think they enjoyed that. And just, I think it just seemed very organized. Everybody had an idea of what was going on, where they needed to be. Brittany definitely kept us on our timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, just nothing really got us flustered at all. And the space, I mean, it was ours. I've said that before, that, you know, just being able to have the space to ourselves after you guys closed down was just, it just seemed intimate. It just seemed like this was all for us. And that kind of...
we owned the place.
Yep. We want to own a winery?
Yeah, well, maybe one day. Not anytime soon. The bartenders were amazing. We met them when we came for the tasting dinner. And when we first sat down at the wedding, they were the first two people that came over, and they gave us both big hugs and just said how happy they were for us and happy to be there. And it was just so nice that I felt like they were actually remembered us, and, you know, remembered talking to us, and
made sure we didn't run out of wine or anything to drink, which was good. Yeah. For us, besides the physical space and how beautiful it was in the winery grounds, I mean, the staff, everybody worked really hard to make sure we had a great wedding. It seemed seamless to us. I don't know how Brittany felt, but it seemed like the setup went great. The food came out hot to everybody. The bartenders remembered us from the food tasting when we had come here. They were involved. It seemed like everybody was dedicated to making sure that we had a special day, and they were having fun too. You could see them. They were having fun, and I heard that after the fact, that they thought it was one of the better parties that they've had here, which is good.
I would think so.
I think so. But just, you know, the attention to detail was definitely there. The staff cared. You could see that in the way the setup and the food came out, and the bartending staff was great. You know, the servers were great. I mean, everything looked awesome.
Yeah. Everything looked awesome, tasted awesome. It was not a bad day.
Not a bad day at all.